The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm CJ, and that's Chip over there. Can you hear me okay, Chip?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I didn't even see the opening. Did we have an opening?
Yes, we did.
Well, obviously, again, there's something wrong with my connection. So I didn't even see the opening. All I saw you saying, "Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk." So if I am going out, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk.
I can hear you fine. So we're doing okay. Let's do
the COVID.
Let's get right to our COVID numbers. The total for Massachusetts is 112,459. New cases was 286. Total deaths was 8,514. New deaths was 14. Bristol County has 9,355 cases. And Fall River has 1,834 cases, which is a 6-case increase from Saturday. And we have no new fatalities, so we're still at 118. So, I mean, at least we're staying stable on the deaths, but we're seeing those increases coming in on a daily basis. So it's going to be an interesting way to see what's happening across the board. I want to address something right away. As many of you know who watched, I went on a tirade on Friday. I was more emotional than I was factual, and I make that very clear. My water bill was $500. I presented it to you to show you, but when I reviewed the city council agenda on Saturday evening, Sunday, after the mayor called to make it clear that the water rates have not been increased as of yet, I started looking it over, and the city council is going to vote on the water rate increase on Tuesday. Here's the problem, and there is a problem. If this was my water bill now, imagine what the increase is going to kick it over to. And are you going to be able to afford that increase? Because automatically, I'll tell you now, you're going to get pay $2 more just on the stormwater fee, which I still believe is illegal. But it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to work out. I have made it very clear I am all for monthly billing or even the ability to pay monthly. Currently, the city doesn't accept your monthly payments on the bills. I think they should, because people can estimate what their bill will be and they can make payments in advance if necessary to get past it. Otherwise, they've got to put the money aside somewhere. And then, of course, as you know, emergencies come up and they start grabbing that money. So they're behind before they even get ahead. So, again, I'm sorry if I misdirected anyone, but the bottom line is I'm still pissed off about my bill. I'm going to stay pissed off about my bill. And if you don't like it, tough. Oh, God.
Oh, good. Well, obviously, because this does actually go back to a previous meeting, but it was in committee when Chris Peckham changed his vote, and there was a motion to reconsider, which was illegal, and we covered that in depth on the show. And you were getting feedback on the mic once the program started, which is really ironic. It looks like maybe they're trying to jam us. We might have some clandestine operatives attempting to jam us on the. But I was getting some feedback when you were talking, but So they were fundamentally approved in that committee, and now it's going to go to the full council. So apparently they haven't applied those rates. If they're going to apply those rates retroactively or what, or prospectively, hopefully they'll clarify that at the meeting. So let's wait and see. But as you said, a lot of people saw their bills go up dramatically, and it can't all be from leaky toilets and faucets. So there's a lot of questions that are out there about the water bills, and that's only the first of many. Welcome to our new world. This is the beginning. You're going to get an increase over what you've already seen, and you're going to get an increase in your taxes, and it's going to be attempted to debt override, and a whole bunch of things, because they're scurrying around at budget time now trying to plug up all the gaps that they created with their overspending by using this as a vehicle to screw everybody and screw you, taxpayer and city employees. So welcome to the real world, everybody. Wake up.
Well, I will tell you now, and for the record, we know they're trying to scurry around, because look at what they just did to the IAC, and they're trying to do the city health plan again, like it's not like they haven't tried before. And I'm sure you have a lot to say about that.
Oh, I do. There's going to be some major problems. You know, our healthcare, the cost of our healthcare is the same as it was in 2012. So you show me something that's still the same cost in our budget, and let alone in proportion to our 12 budget. And there were years prior to 12 where it was even cheaper than what we're paying today. But they're going to try to screw the people to make more money on the backs of the people. When they switched the plan modeling in 12, when we faced another deficit, they made $8.94 million in the cost shift. That came out of the pockets of the people, of the taxpayers, of the city employees. And now they're going to give them difficulty getting pay raises. And they're going to say, well, your premium is going to be lower. And they're going to go in front of the city council when this is discussed at budget time. And it's probably not going to be discussed at the next meeting. But they're going to tell you that they're saving money on health care. Let me tell you, city employees and city council, if you reduce the premium $20 or $25, you're not saving money. Because if you're going to look at the actual costs to everybody, especially the people in the plan, and it doesn't change the experience. As a matter of fact, it makes it worse. Let me give you an example. They want to go to the GIC, and they said, oh, you know, people in the housing authority really like it. Well, let me see if they really like it after I get through with a few of these facts. And I did say that at the meeting. I said, bring the union down from the housing authority. Let me tell you how badly they're getting screwed, and see if they still like it. But here's a few facts that I uncovered after our initial meeting. No new groups have entered the GIC in 4 years. We all know how bad the GIC is. It's been bailed out by the state for years. 11 communities have gotten out of the GIC and gone to, well, 9 went to Blue Cross, 1 went to Fallon, and 1 went to HPHC. Now, here's our aggregate renewal was 2%. The Tufts aggregate renewal was 7.1. That's 5.1% more. HPCP was 3. Fallon was 3. Always Health was 6. We had Always Health, whatever that is. I never even heard of it. And probably nobody will ever hear it again. They went up 12% aggregate. So none of these plans, and the other thing is that we have an HMO in Fall River, and the GIC has very limited HMOs. Most of their plans are PPOs and POSs. So in case you don't know that, a POS, a lot of people, everybody's familiar with PPOs, but a POS is point of service. Their HMO plans are very limited, and they're very restrictive about carriers and hospitals. So let me explain what they're going to do. And they say it's going to be cheaper. And the insensitive comment was only 7 people get automatics. And this is the difference in the plan. This is why they can give it to us for a couple of dollars cheaper. But put yourself in the position of a person on a fixed income who's retiring, or a young city employee with some children who can have some really major healthcare issues. This is just a few of the issues. Inpatient, out of pocket. That's when you go to a hospital. Right now, with our plan, we do not pay anything to go to Charlton or Florida. If you go to the GIC, you'll pay $275 every time you walk into the hospital. And even if they waive that fee, here comes the big one. If you go to a tier 2 hospital, which is the hospitals that are for a little larger, you're going to pay $300 in our plan, and you pay $500 in the GIC, so that's $200 more. But here's the big one. You got a really serious problem, and you want to go to Dana-Farber, or you want to go to Mass General, and you want to have a surgery. That's a tier 3. $700 in our plan, which is a lot of money already for the average person. GIC, $1,500. $1,500, $800 more. Now we get to how much you have to pay before you don't have to pay anymore. Out-of-pocket max. Our out-of-pocket max for an individual is $1,500. The out-of-pocket max for an individual in a GIC is $5,000. Do the math. That's $3,500 more. So if you walk into a Boston hospital, you're going to pay $800 more to go to the hospital, and before you hit your max, you're going to spend another $3,500. Now, if you're a young carrier, a young carrier of the insurance with a family, your out-of-pocket max with our present plan is $3,000. GIC is $10,000. $10,000. What do you think that'll do to a young family? That's $7,000 more. This is the kind of burden, and they're going to say they're saving money. So put yourself in a position. And the insensitive comment that only 17 people hit out of max. Well, you get your wish. Those people wouldn't have hit the $10,000 out-of-pocket max, maybe, but we'd have a whole bunch of people that can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgage, can't pay anything because of the prohibitive cost shift. It is not a savings, it is a cost shift. They're saving money by shifting millions of dollars of out-of-pocket expenses to the employees. The plan is crap. That's why everybody's getting out of it and nobody's getting in it. And they have no business even introducing it now. My position is clear. We renewed this plan. They're going to go in front of the council at budget time and look for funding for the present plan as it stands. And they're going to con you again. They're going to say it's going to cost $54 million, but it doesn't. That's not. They're including what the employees pay, which should not be included. So if they're approving the plan, they didn't bring up anything before the plan was renewed. The aggregate was only 2%. As far as I'm concerned, hell is going to freeze over, and the Brewers are going to be playing a Stanley Cup game in hell before I don't fight to the death to stop the GIC. We've been willing to negotiate. If they want to introduce a third plan with a little bit higher deductible that they can save a little money and a young person can take a crapshoot and say, okay, I'm young, I'll pay a little bit more for my prescription drugs. I'll pay a little bit more to go to the hospital because I don't think I'm going to go. Well, if you lose the bet, you're in trouble. But that's a personal decision. But I will not stand idly by and let them screw every single person in that plant. People who don't want to pay $10,000 before they hit the out-of-pocket max. People who don't want this. This is an outrage. This is again, and they're going to take the full weight of doing this because this has been, now everybody knows what's coming. And shame on the council if they listen. There will be public input and I will be down there, but I'll never get all this in 3 minutes. And there were so many other issues with the GIC that are detrimental. So it shows they're totally insensitive to the plight of the people who are dealing with it. We have retirees who are not eligible for Medicare who have to stay in the active plan, and they have to pay $700 when they go to Boston. They will have to pay $10,000 or $5,000 out of max. And excuse me for 1 second. I am going to mute my mic because I'm getting a call in from someone that's extremely important.
Well, it's interesting, Chip, just so you know, the cost for the city is $40.5 million. $40.5 million, and they're going to try to sell it as $54 million. That's not acceptable. That's just not acceptable. And this is the misrepresentations that we keep getting from the finance team. Okay, it's $54 million we have to budget. No, it's $50.5 million because the city employees and the retirees have to pay in their 25%. So let's not build this budget up to something that it's not to be. Let the people of Fall River know the truth. Let the city council know the truth. And the problem is when you're not getting the truth and your numbers never seem to add up, your reputation and your credibility go out the window. You already have a problem, Mary Sahadi, with people in the city who don't believe anything you say. You have problems with people on the city council who don't believe anything that you say. And that means your credibility is out the window. And that's a shame. That's truly a shame. And I feel like, you're supposed to be working for the people. And you've never worked for the people. You've worked for the administration. Whether it be this administration or previous administrations, you've always worked for the administration. You've never worked for the people who pay your outrageous salary. Outrageous salary. And I'll tell you now, I don't think you're worth the $140,000 we're paying, especially because we're not getting what appears to be the truth. And if you're not going to present the actual factual numbers to the people in the city council, then what are you doing? Why are you here? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me at all. So,
well, I'm back, CJ.
Yep.
Well, you're right, and the misrepresentations never stop. At that meeting, Mary Sahadi said, when questioned, they have $2.5 million in their healthcare trust fund. $2.5 million when their liability is around $36 million. And I commented that that's outrageous, and she said the rest of it's in the general fund. Well, that's not what the general fund is for. How many times has she said we shouldn't be using the general fund for one-time payments like stuff? And the other problem is, and I pointed this out at the meeting, they are obligated legally, and she said she will agree to disagree. Well, you're right. We're always going to disagree. When you look at a firefighter contract, a police contract, DCM contract, every single item in that contract is funded, except the health care. If you look at the line item for salaries, the salaries are funded. Longevity is funded. Stipends are funded. Every single cost item is funded in that. And when they sold that contract at a council, 150E says it has to be fully funded. Well, you explain to me why the only line item, the only thing in that collective bargaining agreement that is not funded, it's in the general fund, which is not supposed to be, as far as I'm concerned. That's not what the general fund's for. To pay health care. The health care money should be earmarked because it's contractually obligated to be earmarked. It is $2.5 million. here, I know you can't see this, I don't think, but this is the new sheet that we get. Oh, there it is. If I can figure out. It's hard to. Well, I'll read the number. We just got our monthly report on how much the employees have in our trust fund, which is only 25% of what they should have if they actually handle their money responsibly. Our trust fund now has $8,073,369.42. A $2 million increase from last month. Why? We all know why. You know why. I know why, CJ. The COVID virus has stopped a lot of elective surgeries and a lot of doctor's visits, and the premium went down. But, don't talk to me about money. And the question was asked at the meeting. Well, if we've got a $2 million uptick, you guys should have a $6 million uptick. What are you going to do with that money? You've got some money now to play around with to plug the gap temporarily because we're a self-payer. It's not a premium. You're not paying a monthly. You pay by the month as it comes in. So you should have $6 million, and you're going to go try to screw the people out of their health care when you got $6 million. Where's the money? I want to see a city council ask why. And I know that Sean Kadim's going to go, oh, we do it that way in CCOM too. Well, they all do it until somebody takes them to court. And if I was still a president of the union, I would be taking them to court because they're not funding this. Because what they're saying in essence is that our general fund is bullshit. It's not really a general fund. It's a slush fund. So your health care money is in the general fund. Why? So you can use it for things other than health care? That's not legal. So what you're saying right now is if your liability, and I'm rounding off now, is 36 million out of the 54, right? I can do it. You can do it on your calculator. 25% of 54 million and deduct it. It's around 36. You got 2.5.
It's $40.5 million that the city's liable for.
All right. Well, let's see what the hell I'm going to do it now. You got me now. You got me doing this here. Okay, let's see. 54 million. There's so many zeros in million. That I
get $4.5 million is the city's responsibility.
$13.5. Okay. 13.5. 13.5. So it's 13.5. So it's 54 million. It's 54 million.
It's 40.5.
Minus 13.5. 45. Yeah, 40 million, not 45 million. Because you said
40.5.
So $40 million. So now we're down to 37.5 because they've got 2.5 million in their actual healthcare account. So what we're basically saying is over $37 million that's being reflected in the general fund isn't really there because it's supposed to be healthcare money. I mean, wouldn't you think? Isn't that the way you think about that? If that money is supposedly contractually obligated to pay what your liability is for healthcare, and the council approved that contract, you should have all the money in the healthcare account. So that means $37 million of the general fund isn't really general fund. So it's all smoke and mirrors. And the only people that get victimized by all this Chinese checkers with money are the taxpayers of Fall River and the city employees. Because they're the ones that get their health care, they get screwed on their health care, which they gave up money for. Sometimes they took 4 instead of 5 and 3 instead of 4 to keep health care. And I know that's a fact because I did. And there were union officials at that meeting that also said that over the course of many years, there were concessions made at the bargaining table to maintain at least decent health care for the citizens of Fall River. So now, because they can't stop spending money, their attitude is, let's go screw taxpayers with fees and taxes and debt overrides, and let's screw the city employees yet again. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to fight this fight until the bitter end. If they want to introduce other plans, but not the GIC. The GIC is a dismal failure. It's been rejected by numerous cities. It has been bailed out by the state numerous times. They have an entire new administrative arm, and so nobody knows what they're going to do to the GIC next year. As a matter of fact, I'm really looking forward to the council meeting, because if I know, I had a conversation, and I always do, with Michelle Dion. I know she is a recipient of the GIC, and she doesn't particularly care for it because she knows it's a crap plan, and there's no reason for us to get a crap plan when we've worked so hard over the last decade to keep our costs down. You show me another city and town in the state of Massachusetts who has maintained the kind of coverage we've had, and the cost of the healthcare plan is not a lot more costly than it was 10 years ago. So that's it. That's my rant. But I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this since '81, and I've never been so angry as I was at the last meeting, because they see numbers. When they make statements like only 17 people hit out-of-pocket max, they're not the 17 people who have to look at their savings accounts evaporate, not be able to afford things they truly needed. I look at the people, because they're the ones who call me and say, I can't afford to go to the hospital. I can't afford to get this thing. So I'm really pissed. I'm sorry, but I am.
No, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize at all, because you know what? I'm a citizen, and I'm upset, because when you look at the fact that they don't even have the $40.5 million in the account that they're contractually obligated to. And I remember a comment that Mary Sahadi made in a previous city council meeting where she said, we don't put the money in that account because we would be tying up those funds that we could be using for something else. That's exactly what she said. Well, what are you going to use it for?
Which is, by the way, illegal.
Right. You need to use it for healthcare. So if you're going to use it for something else other than healthcare, like what? A park bench? I mean, give me a break. You've got to keep things on point. You've got to keep things where they are, and you have to meet contractual obligations. I haven't seen this budget yet. I'm scrambling to get a copy of it, because once I get a copy of this budget, I'm going to pick it apart like there's no tomorrow. I know the city councilors already have a copy of this budget, but the mayor's already saying that there are things that are not in this budget which we will have to fine-tune afterwards. You don't fine-tune afterwards, Mr. Mayor. Once this budget's approved, that's what you got to live with. That's what you got to live with, like it or not. And we've already heard.
That's right.
We've already heard that you're looking to fill spaces in the budget with the CARES Act money. Hey, if I was mayor, I'd probably be doing the same thing, trying to see if I can get this CARES Act money used for other things. But guess what? You can't. So as long as you can't, don't even think about it. Because you've got a U.S. attorney which has got his eyes right down on Fall River saying, no way. Hey, that's the end of the show, people. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch us and giving Chip this time to speak about the healthcare and know that Fall River is screwing you.
And let's all stay angry and ask the city what they're going to do with their $6 million uptick, since they got such low